The Guilty, brand new Netflix one that debuted a couple weeks ago at the Toronto International Film Festival. TIFF and stars Jake Gyllenhaal and is directed by Antoine Fuqua and tells a story about a demoted police officer who's played by Gyllenhaal, who is assigned to call dispatch desk, and he is conflicted when he receives an emergency phone call from a kidnapped woman voiced by Riley Keough. The film is an hour and 30 minutes long and rated R. Welcome back to a brand new Netflix review here on Max Talks Movies. We're talking about The Guilty. First of all, if you've already seen this film either at a film festival or in select theaters or on Netflix, let me know what your thoughts are on the film in non-spoiler fashion in the comments section down below. Let me know, did you see the original international film that came out a couple years ago? All of that in the comment section down below. Also, if you have not seen the film, tell me, will you check this one out this weekend on Netflix? Also, please like the video, the thumbs up button, guys. That's the best way to support this channel. Subscribe, ring the bell as well. If you're new to the channel, I do movie reviews, streaming platform reviews, movie rankings, a box office breakdown show, TV show reviews, a lot of stuff coming down the pipeline. And this will be the first of multiple videos coming out today. Also, please follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Letterboxd. You can find that as well in the comments in the description down below. Let's talk about The Guilty. So as I said, this is a Toronto International Film Festival film, but I really knew absolutely nothing about this movie. No trailers, just the poster, in that it was at TIFF. I knew Antoine Fuqua was in the movie. I know Jake Gyllenhaal was in the movie. I really knew the cast itself, and that includes Riley Keough, Peter Sarsgaard, Ethan Hawke, Divine Joy Randolph. There's Paul Dano. There's Bill Burr. There's a pretty big cast, and I'll explain to you why it may be such a big cast. But first of all, let's talk about the positives, the negatives, and then I'll give you my score. So just to let you know, you're going to have to limit your expectations because this movie, not to limit it, I'm just saying this movie is literally takes place in this desk at a 911 for service, and Jake Gyllenhaal is the person receiving these 911 calls, and that is the entire movie. We never leave Jake Gyllenhaal's side the entire film. As I said, the movie is about really when he gets this phone call from this kidnapped woman who's voiced by Riley Keough, but you still never see these characters. The only character out of that huge cast that you actually see on screen in the movie is Jake Gyllenhaal. The rest of them, Keough, Sarsgaard, Dano, Burr, Ethan Hawke, Divine Joy Randolph, they're all in really voice performances because they're all just on the phone, Jake Gyllenhaal, throughout the entire film. Let's start with my biggest positive with the movie, and that is the man, the myth himself. Jake Gyllenhaal is fantastic in this movie. This is easily one of the best performances of the entire year. I'm not saying this will get an Oscar nom. I think would I be mad? Absolutely not. This is a really fantastic performance and easily one of the best performances of the entire year. He plays Joe Baylor, and you learn a little bit why the timing of this phone call is bad for him based on his previous life and what's happening to him the next day after this phone call is over. You get revelations about his past, his wife, his daughter, what his past is as a cop, all these different things. And that's why it adds the tension more. I mean, it adds more tension to what this phone call means, not just to the people on the other side of the phone call, but to Joe Baylor, played by Gyllenhaal himself. And Jake Gyllenhaal plays this role really well. He has a pretty short temper. He has an asthma. He has all these different types of things going on. He is really, really captivating to watch on screen, and it keeps you glued to the movie screen the entire 90-minute runtime. It's a really fantastic performance that it's really emotional. It's really intense. You can see how vulnerable he is. One mistake could ruin his life on this phone call. And at the same time, he's trying to fix his own life. He's trying to save someone else's life. And the balance of what is going on with that is really magically done because Gyllenhaal's performance sells you on that premise. And because they're not showing you the other side of any of these phone calls, you're just with Gyllenhaal the entire movie. His job is to carry this movie and to keep you as the audience interested in the film. And he certainly does that. I really like the idea of the first 30 minutes just being random 911 phone calls. It's kind of interesting for someone like me, or probably a lot of you who watch this movie out there, not really sure physically how that stuff works when you call 911, what happens. And to see the other side of that phone call, the whole movie, I thought was a really interesting way to show a character, because he's going through all these different 911 calls, looking for locations of people not telling him where where their licenses are, all these license plates, all these different things. And it's a really, really interesting plot that I was definitely kept me captivated throughout the entire movie. The movie is at times really intense. You don't know if he just slipped up and what if he just told someone was the wrong information. And the intensity of the movie, you could really feel how intense it is throughout the entire film. And you could definitely understand where Jake Gyllenhaal is also coming from in the entire movie. Again, he is just so captivating to watch. It really is why if you're going to watch this movie, you're watching the movie because Jake Gyllenhaal is in every second of the frame of this movie. It's his movie. There's other people around. We see like one or two other cops who physically are in the movie, but as of the bigger cast, Keo, all those other people are all voice performances, which I think is a really interesting move, but I thought it really did work out. I do want to move into some negatives that I do have with the movie. And at times the twists and turns that happen on this phone call, you can kind of see them coming a mile away. You kind of know that Jake Gyllenhaal sometimes assumes stuff that clearly as an audience member, you wouldn't assume, but he's assuming things way too quickly because we need to get to a twist and a turn. That's what it kind of felt like during the movie, have Jake Gyllenhaal be told something and that he automatically assumes is true. And then he goes along and tries to help based on that assumption. You kind of feel the predictability of the film at times, which this film, with it had really unpredictable twists and turns, would have made this movie a really special movie. It can't get to that point because of that. As I said, they keep trying to bring up these revelations within his past, and it felt just more of a distraction. I kind of understood why they needed to make you understand what he's going through, but it was a tough time balancing him having a phone call with Riley Keough or Peter Sarsgaard's character or Ethan Hawke's character, and then to just be on the phone with his wife and on the phone with his lawyer and all these different things. It was tough balancing two different stories because you wanted to really zone in on this woman's story that he's on the phone call with. But instead we kind of go from, he has to hang up with her to talk to this person. It is a very repetitive movie where he's basically on the phone, hang up, on the phone, hang up. That's the entire film. And at times it does get a bit too repetitive, especially in the second act. It's really heavy on the phone calls, just sitting down on the phone the entire time, if that means his headset or his actual phone itself. And the film can feel quite repetitive. But overall, I had a really good time with The Guilty. It is a really solid film from Antoine Fuqua, who I know is a pretty divisive filmmaker. I mean, he's done, and Gyllenhaal also is a producer on this film. And this film is also based off of a film that came out in 2018. So first of all, if you've seen that film, I want to let me know if you've also seen this one. Compare the two. Let me know what I have not seen the original film, but I am going to give The Guilty on Netflix a 3.5 out of 5, a 72% for The Guilty. I had a really good time. It's a really intense thriller that for me works. It did have its issues of repetitiveness and predictability, but the captivating Oscar award nominated performance from Gyllenhaal is currently worth the 90 minutes of your time. So that's my thoughts on The Guilty. Please like the video, subscribe. Another video coming out today with my full ranking of all the movies, all 8 movies that I saw in the month of September. I'll see you guys there.